All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys will have yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Good morning, DTR members. Good morning, those of you who are listening to the prep on Twitter. Let's have ourselves a fantastic day here today. Today's Thursday, right? We've got a little bit less Fed speak here today, but still not clearly out of the way. We have a little bit still left with Barkin speaking, right? One of the more important Fed speakers this AM. So I would certainly anticipate that the market continues to be a little bit cautious. We had jobless claims come out here today, but not a huge narrative. It does seem like the market maybe is waiting for CPI next week, and we'll see if that continues to sort of establish price action. What I think I've seen a little bit in markets here recently is kind of just that low vol grind price action, right? Where it's the max frustration type PA. If you want to be in this, or if you wanted to have traded this, then you probably needed to have jumped in right a month ago, 2 months ago, right 3 months ago, to be happy with sort of where the market is, at least if you're a long-term trader. There's not very many investors, pension funds, or anything along those lines that I think would be aggressively pushing to add at these all-time highs, right? Whereas we're also not seeing enough kind of a personality shift or enough downside potential to also suggest that we need to be immediately aggressive and lower. Hey SSB, maybe is it echoing still? I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's really I think the narrative, right? We need to be a little bit cautious, and we still want to be a little bit patient for essentially just that enthusiasm and momentum to step back in, right? So even yesterday on the index level, we were thinking about or talking about that inside bar breakout right above that 496. And although that did actually occur, it probably didn't occur on the volume standard that we wanted to have seen. So this morning, right, we're still going to be waiting for that volume to kind of step in across the board. And the indexes there are essentially leading the narrative for us. Doesn't mean we don't have bullish narratives. We absolutely do. And I think there is some enthusiasm for us to take advantage of. But I need to have that volume or that momentum confirmed by this morning's open. So with that being said, right, let's start kind of mapping things out and figure out what we want to do here this AM. And let's absolutely crush this morning's prep. So good morning, Suresh, Ruben, Salstein, Marcus, Gabe, Steven, GD, Gary, Ben, Craig, SG, Brian, Callum, Rusty, SSB, Marcus, Ben, Frisco. I hope you guys all have yourselves a fantastic AM. And those of you listening on Twitter Spaces, welcome. Let's prep away and crush this morning's pre-market. So start with the SPY, right? We're looking for breakout continuation through all-time highs and potentially pushing towards sort of that 500 handle, right? 5,000 on the futures. So I'd be looking for a continuation there. We're going to be looking at this on a count level, right? Or pre-market conditions wise. This is giving me a 2 out of 3 with volume, but the volume wasn't as impressive as I would have wanted to have seen, right? I wanted to have seen yesterday biggest volume of the week on a breakout over 496, and we didn't quite get that here this morning. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Topher. So I want to see that volume step back in, right? I want to see outlier momentum. I want to see outlier enthusiasm step in to push towards sort of that 500 handle. Otherwise, I'm getting a little bit concerned that we're almost setting ourselves up for like a volume divergence reversal off of a big round number. So need to see that enthusiasm show up in a big way. If it does, yeah, we'll have some joy. If it doesn't, I'll be happy to kind of push it and look at other names here this morning. So we'll call it 2 out of 3 with vol, and then we're going to be looking for a high vol breakout through 498.50. Essentially all-time highs, right? And then first target here is going to be 500. And then you basically go $2 along the way towards sort of that 505 area. But all-time highs, right? I'm just kind of more picking round numbers here more than anything else. There's no real perceived areas of resistance. So anticipating 500 to be a big area, and then we can kind of go from there. But need to see bigger vol step in, right? So high vol breakout needs to be called biggest volume of the week breakout, right? Over 498.50. Okay, and then no real downside case here, right? Nice little breakout, so we're going to say it's bullish until proven otherwise. Okay, Apple, higher high, higher low, increasing bearish volume, pretty weak still relative to the weekly standard, but now opening up in the middle of that candles range. I think this continues to be one to watch versus one to trade in the short term. Okay, Tesla, we're still looking for that 190 breakout here, and I think that's going to be the ideal setup for me here, right? Decreasing volume, weak bears, bouncing off of that trend line that we talked about there yesterday, and we're $1.29 from a breakout over 190. So love the look of this, right? If we were also to look at this on a count perspective, right, or we do the pre-market conditions, Tesla's giving me a 1 for 3 to the downside without volume and with the weakest bearish candle that one could possibly find. So if I can now see enthusiasm step back in, what I like here, or let me finish that thought, right? If I can see enthusiasm step back in here on Tesla, then it's giving me relative upside. And what I mean by that is compared to like the index level or compared to some of the like the NVIDIA psychopaths of the world, Tesla is in the lower half of its daily Bollinger Band. We've seen a lot of kind of selling pressure here recently, and so it's easier for us to buy a relative low instead of chasing a relative high. So if I can get that trend line breakout on really impressive volume, then yeah, I think there's a little bit of conviction here, and I would say that this is, at least so far, probably the top of the watch list this morning. We'll call it a weak 1 for 3 to the downside, right? And then we want to see basically just a high vol breakout over 190. And then we're going points of contact, right? So you have a point of contact about 194-ish, which is that approximate January 31st high. And then you have that sort of 196, which is that January 30th high. I don't know why I keep wanting to say June. My mind is always in the summer gutter. So yeah, if I can get that breakout through there, then I do think that there's a little bit of space up towards sort of that 200 barrier. That 200 shelf is a nice point of confluence here this morning on Tesla, as it's not only a really appropriate psych level, it's also going to act as the middle line here on the daily Bollinger Band. So that's ultimately going to be a pretty nice little target here and should act as a little bit of a magnet this morning, especially if indexes want to push up towards sort of that 500 or 5,000 handle. And I've seen a lot of rumors of Cathie Wood now loading back up. So she's not very subtle when she buys things or sells things. And if that is the case, then we will see a significant amount of volume stepping in here this morning, and we'll be able to take advantage of that. Again, right, I would love to see biggest volume of the week, but at least bigger than yesterday has to be the bare minimum. So it looks really strong up towards sort of that 200 shelf. Okay, Microsoft. Still confined, looking for a breakout through 415. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row that has not been able to break out from those confines. I'll probably call it 416 at this point, just round it up. Ends up being like a 415.75. I don't like dealing with 3/4. I'll just take the round number here. So a 416 breakout would need to be the scenario here, and I would need to ideally see it bigger than any of the volume that I've seen in February. So from February 1st onward, like I said, we've had 5 days of price action that's been stuck in that post-earnings sell-off. So if those volume standards have not been strong enough to make higher highs or make lower lows from within that range, then I need to at least see bigger volume than that sticky price action if I'm going to trust some momentum or enthusiasm higher. So yeah, this 416 has got to be the starting point for me, and it's got to be biggest volume of the month. Same idea like we talked about on the SPY, right? If we do get this now pop, we're at all-time highs. So naturally, the sicko that I am, right? 416's got space towards 420, nice. And then I think this thing's probably got to be able to move like 0.5% along the way, right? As it kind of creeps up. So if I can continue to see momentum here, and I can continue to see a little bit of oomph, right, in this Microsoft, and that oomph is going to be defined by volume returning, then yeah, I'll be able to sustain this price action higher and actually get myself a little bit of nice follow through. So 2 for 3 here to the upside. Again, not the greatest volume standard, so I want to see a 416 breakout on biggest volume of the month. Make sense? And then I'm probably going to go $2 along the way, right, up towards like 430. So 416, 418, 420, nice. And then $2 along the way right from there, 430. Okay, sweet. Any bear case here? Yeah, Nate, you're spot on, right? No bear case here. We need to see bulls fail, and we have not seen that occur yet. So now we essentially want to see like an ascending wedge breakout, right, through that 416. Sweet. So today's watch list so far, right? SPY, Tesla, Microsoft. And then we've got one more addition here, right? I mean, so far. Meta. So now we're looking still, right? Inside bar breakout. Essentially, we're looking for a breakout towards, we'll call it 486-ish, right? Something along those lines. But we need to break out through the confines created on the 5th, right? Or the price action where we saw got stuck at about 473. So we need to see a 473 breakout. Pre-market, we're hanging out 468.50. So we're maybe a little bit of a ways away, right? About 1% away from getting that pop. So again, right, the volume needs to give me confidence that I'm going to sustain follow through higher. If I don't get that oomph or I don't see enough enthusiasm there, well, then I'm going to be shit out of luck, right? Like I'm not going to want to waste my time chasing after this because it's going to tell me that the breakout's most likely to fail. So if we're already at relatively extended price action, it's been a big gap up post earnings, yada, 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 right? I want to make sure that I do have enough, call it buyers, right? I'm winning the supply demand equation essentially to sustain that next leg. And for it to sustain at such a high level or at kind of an extended kind of point already, it needs to be on very impressive, incredible, outlier, wacky volume, right? Like it's got to be really, really strong. It's got to be absolutely perfect here this morning. Otherwise, I'm not going to have conviction I can follow through. So still looking for that inside bar breakout here above 473. And then that's got space, we'll call it $2 along the way up towards sort of 486. Maybe a little bit further down the watch list than, say, something like a Tesla this morning, but it's a similar idea. We just want to, Tesla's better because Tesla we're buying relative lows, so we don't need as an impressive standard to overcome, right? Meta, we're buying higher highs, or we're like, we just want to be careful that we're not going to get rug pulled here, right? Like that's always my biggest fear when you chase these high breakouts. So let's make sure that we're getting enough evidence to suggest that we do have that strength. Okay, Amazon, very similar narrative here, right? Not quite an inside bar, but we didn't quite also get that 171 breakout. And that's going to be the hope, right, that we need to see here. Same narrative that we just talked about there on Meta, where this is at higher highs. And so we want to be cautious, right, that we aren't getting basically caught in a trap before it then rug pulls and fills that gap to the downside. So the volume narrative that we need to establish here on Amazon continues to be exceptional, and it needs to be a little bit of a psychopath volume-wise. So yeah, biggest of the week for sure has to be the bare minimum here. And we'll call it biggest ball of the week again, right? And like the reality, a lot of the names that we're looking at here today, we're getting the same setups like we got yesterday, right? We didn't see too much trending price action occur. So we're still looking for that trend creating event to give us a little bit of follow through, a little bit of conviction, or a little bit of back and forth, whatever you want to call it. So I think there's definitely a little bit of potential, but let's not be too aggressive here or too forceful or anything along those lines. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be A+. And if I don't see that volume, all right, no worries. I know what I have to do. Okay, AMD inside bar here, so I'm going to pass on this. We need to break out above, we'll call it 175. It's $6 away on a $170 stock. It's not going to be worth it for me. NVIDIA. What's the count here, guys? Higher high, higher low. Green candle, decreasing volume, gap down. Just under 700, right? Hanging out 698. So 1 for 3 here, right? Spot on GD. Right? So 1 for 3 just tells us we have a strong green candle. We have a psych level here, right? That 700 spot, definitely interesting. So what do we expect to show up at 700, right? We expect either buyers or sellers to step in to either want to defend that breakout through that spot or to basically stuff price action, right? Round numbers at all-time highs ultimately end up being pretty clean setups. So we'd like to see a continuation narrative that makes it easy for us to fall in love with it, right? In this case, we want to see basically now a hold of 700 and probably a breakout through the 703 zone, which is previous all-time highs or a little bit above all-time highs. So if I can get a high vol breakout, right, trend creating price action, then yeah, I think this could give me a little bit of oomph. But again, my biggest concern is I hate chasing highs, right? So if I'm getting the same volume standard on NVIDIA and Tesla, I'm going to want to filter to Tesla because the risk reward buying those relative lows might be a little bit smoother to justify than NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is just a psychopath, right? So I don't want to be too aggressive chasing this. I don't want to be just like pissing my money away just for the sake of some action. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be A+. And I don't want to fall for this unless it's just spot on, right? So yeah, got good momentum, but again, want to see if I could get back to that outlier vol standard, right, and get good index cooperation. It's got to be, then that could be in play, but and he needs increasing outlier vol. Okay, Netflix kind of looks like a higher high, lower low, but opening up in the middle of that candle's range. Maybe starting to get your 3 points of contact on the upside now. 1, 2, 3. So you'd want to look for a breakout eventually through 576 on Netflix, and that's 15 bucks away at this point, so I'll pass. Okay, Coinbase, a little fake out lower now, pretty big gap up. You got trend line, right? 3 points of contact. Tuesday, January 30th, right? Monday, February 5th, and then yesterday, Wednesday, February 7th. Those are your upper points of contact on the daily time frame. So if we're looking for a trend creating price action or a breakout price action, we need to break out through that point of contact on the trend line, turn that into support, and then run this thing higher. For me, that looks like the 130 area. So I kind of think on Coinbase or on Coin, I need to get a pop through that zone on some significant volume. And then if I do get that pop, all right, that's where the joy could step in. So 130 would be the play. That's $3 away, 2.5%. Yeah, I think this is one to watch versus one to trade here today, but I will have a auxiliary plan. So like if this thing goes psycho mode, it can 100% give me that 130 breakout, no problem. So I'll have those levels mapped out, but it won't be top of the watch list here this morning. Right, it is a 3 for 3 to the upside, so I've got bullish momentum, but it's got to be 130 breakout, right? Just create that trend, right? And then I can fall in love with it. And then we can go up towards 135. Sweet. Okay. Google. Still looking to do that gap fill here, right? 2 out of 3 without volume. So we're looking for that momentum slash volume to step back in. 145.77 here on the A-class shares. So we'll look for a breakout above 146. We're still looking for that gap fill towards 150. So that's going to be the setup here, right? Basically gap fill breakout. And then we want to see it occurring on, I mean, bigger than Tuesday's volume, right? If you guys have any requests, any tickers you're looking at this morning, please feel free to leave a comment or a message in the chat. We'll break down some of those names here in a second. So gap fill breakout 146, right? And then we want to see greater vol than Tuesday. Okay, sweet. And then that gap fills up towards sort of that 150-ish, right? So I'm happy to kind of get that kind of follow through if I can find it. Okay. GDMU, let's take a look. Yeah, nice 3 for 3 here to the upside. I think you probably want to get above that 86 handle though. If you get above 86, then you have some pretty clean resistance, right? You got clean levels to go through at that point. So yeah, 86 then pushes you up towards 87, then 88, yada, yada, yada. So I would look for a breakout through that spot first. Yeah, Suresh, we've already looked at NVIDIA, so please go back and rewatch the prep for that. Right, NVIDIA, we're looking for a high vol breakout here if it can load up right above all-time highs, right? Literally looked at it 5 minutes ago, so please pay attention. SMCI, right? Count here, 1 for 3. Decreasing volume, extended price action, opening up in the middle of this candle's range. So no indication of trending price action, right? Very similar price action here where you'd like to see it break out now through that 700 barrier, right? Essentially the same area like you have on NVIDIA, but you need that to occur on bigger volume than what you saw there yesterday. That indecision is not exactly a sign or show of strength, right? So make sure that you see that momentum show back up before you take this thing to the next level. Otherwise, this is telling you that it might need a couple days of consolidation before it's willing to give you that pop, right? Failure to sustain higher highs there yesterday is maybe not the most optimistic bit of price action. Any other requests here, guys? Any other requests? All right, let's take a look at PayPal. Decent gap down here. Yeah, not bad. I mean, this thing's kind of been a little bit in the shitter. Here's your trend line, right? So I'd be a little bit careful because you could easily find support here still off these lower rungs. But I want to see a bigger overreaction here still. I think this could have a bit of space to bleed. But yeah, BB reversal could be in play for sure. It's just got to be on bigger vol than what you saw yesterday. And then let's take a look at Marvel here. MRVL. So again, right, 3 for 3 here to the upside. Yeah, I'll take a look at ARM in a second here, 2 MP. So on Marvel, you want to look for a breakout above, give or take that 71 handle. And then you got space up, kind of dollar along the way from there. If you want to call it 70, 82, 71, that's up to you. But that would be the resistance, right? Once you kind of get that breakout over that spot, a little bit more space. Or ideally, right, if you can get a pullback off of like 68 bucks, that could be interesting too. And then let's take a look at ARM. So good volume here, right? Good earnings. Where's the open? Oh shit, pre-market's 95.05. So I would say like a $25 gap up's maybe a little bit too much for me to want to chase. Right, like I can't even see it on the chart. So that's a huge gap up post earnings. I would wait to see how it catches its breath before taking a shot. Too big for me. 20% overnight tends to not give you another 5% of follow through, right? Tends to catch its breath and stay. Doesn't mean it can't go, right? Palantir has been a good exception to that here this week, or a good outlier example of that here this week. But you don't want to be, it's just chasey, right? Like it's not good risk reward. If this thing crushes, you have a $20 gap to fill, right, to the downside, and that's scary. So I'd be a little bit careful there. See how it catches its breath during the day. So like I said, guys, right, today's watch list: SPY, Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Nvidia, and Coinbase. I think that's a relatively strong list, but we're still looking for essentially enthusiasm and volume to show up across the board. If I don't see that oomph, or if I don't see that volume stepping in, then I'm not gonna be able to quantify or call any of the price action I'm seeing here today A+, right? A+ for me is gonna be on bigger volume, or biggest volume that I've seen so far this week. And that's gotta be the standard that I'm willing to accept before I'm willing to waste or risk any of my capital. So if it isn't perfect, I'm happy to sit on hands. I'm happy to not lose any cash, and I'm happy to not make any bad decisions. So let's make sure that we're controlling the variables we can control, and we're putting ourselves in situations where it's very easy to follow our plans. I don't need to force it. I don't need to overtrade. I don't need to do anything silly. So let's make sure that we're, like I said, controlling the variables we can control and waiting for the exact A+ standard that we've kind of established here this morning. So pretty good size watch list, right? 6 names, 7 names, right? So that's plenty. The question is, if I can get volume in one, I should get volume in the other. So let's wait for those consistent stories. Let's wait for that clean price action, and then let's have ourselves a big day. So best of luck to everyone out there here this morning. And yeah, we'll be back at it again tomorrow for that next pre-market prep starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. Tell your friends. Come back again tomorrow, and hopefully we can get this nice and populated going forward. But have yourselves all a great day, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Peace. All right, DTR members, let's see how markets open here today. But no forcing price action, right? It's got to be perfect. I refuse to compromise. It's not even that I'm being disciplined, guys. I'm just being stubborn. And I'm refusing to lose money if I don't have to, right? That's not fun. So let's see if we can get some nice PA. Let's see if we can get some clean stories, right? Let's see if names want to give us volume, and we can have some joy. So bigger than Tuesday, right, needs to be, it's an easy standard for us to compare to, right? Here's that bar. Sorry, Greg. Sorry. It's trust me, guys. How I treat the side chick is not how you treat the missus, right? So don't worry, guys. I'm not going anywhere here. So Google definitely the best looking here so far. Let's make sure that this volume just continues to be appropriate though, right? Okay, might have just jinxed it. Okay, NVIDIA giving us a chance here. If it loads, 40 cents away from that breakout spot. Not bad vol, but we want to still see a little bit more oomph. It almost feels like it might be setting up for a 10 min versus a 5 min morning. Okay, watch NVIDIA here is giving us a chance. I gotta say one thing about this Google and Goog having them back to back. Every now and then, I think I'm clicking on the A class and I'll click the C class, and like the price is wrong, and then I'll click the C class expecting the A class and the price is wrong. It's it's annoying. Okay, there's NVIDIA. So, okay, instant breakouts. We're gonna wait for this on the 10. Yeah, it's crazy. So waiting on this 10 min here, right? This is the move. Hey, Judson. Doing well, man. How's work? Yeah. I know, dude. All it made me want to, it just reminded me, Callum, of just like being an option degenerate. put in like, 20 grand down on some NVIDIA calls, and all of a sudden you're up 100% in 15 minutes. Or not even, right? 5 minutes. Jeez, you want to get the heart rate going. Next time I go to the doctor, ask for my vitals, right? Just test the heartbeat by putting money on NVIDIA and seeing how it moves. Yeah, seriously. So the most stressed I've ever been in my entire life, this was on stream. So one day I think I was playing NVIDIA. I was going like long calls NVIDIA. Or it was either NVIDIA or Tesla. And my internet cut out or lost market data mid-trade. I had like 40 grand or 45 grand worth of NVIDIA calls. It was Tesla, yeah. And then next thing you know, like it was down like, I don't know, $5 or $6 a share. And I could not, and I didn't know if I was still in a position, if I was not in a position, if I was whatever. So I didn't get any sleep for like 2 days. Oh my God. Nice. Glad to hear it, Judson. Yeah. I'm sure I could go back and find it at some point. The last, I don't know, 800 days have been live streamed. Alright, glad I didn't chase this on the 5, eh? Whew. Okay, Google on the 10. It's going to be close. I'm not sure we're going to get bigger vol than Tuesday, though. Microsoft, really good 10-min vol. Really good. Yeah, I don't doubt it. It's just 20% gap up. Like, I don't know what to do with that, right? Like, it's beyond my risk tolerance at that point. Just think, like, you're up 40%. Fuck. Why didn't I go full life savings into ARM calls? God, I'm such a pussy. Okay. I mean, still in play here. We're looking at a 147 touch we want to go for. So not bad. I mean, Google's definitely in play. Oh, no. Ignore me, ignore me, ignore me, ignore me. Volume not satisfactory. Google should have been included on today's watch list. I'm not sure why I forgot to type it in. Oof. Tell you what, I feel good for not chasing. All right, that's hitting your 3-to-1 risk reward, but it didn't give you an appropriate confirmation standard, right? So no entry here yet on this Google. Not a strong enough volume bar, right? We wanted bigger than Tuesday, and they didn't give us even increasing bigger than Wednesday. Ooh, did NVIDIA just flush? Wow, beast. I shouldn't laugh at this. I really, it's terrible. This is like, it's a $10 range, right? In NVIDIA in 10 minutes. And you can literally just like visualize the accounts blowing up in here. Like the people chasing short have now been fucked. The people chasing long are on like full tilt and now been fucked. Like it's a widowmaker. It's so crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100% Joe. 100%. And social media, I think, is so good at highlighting those people to us. Like, man, the amount of bears that I see taking victory laps every 5-minute red candle. It's like, oh, okay, top is in. Generational top is in. It's like, holy fuck. Like, people are getting crushed. Not a great 15-min close, right? Yeah, she's not subtle, that's for sure. If this wants to go biggest ball of the day, then maybe we could play a breakout towards like that 189. Close. Fuck. I have to play that breakout, I think. I still have to wait for that breakout. Because I don't have the trend, right? A lack of trending PA. I can't front run that volume. I really want to. But I can't do it. I can't do it to myself. Always making me work. Yeah, yeah. So if I'm, like, I'd be tricking myself, right? If I'm saying. Well, ranging, you're looking more for dip buys, right? Generally. Overreaction, right? Mean reversion type setups. Yeah, no change, right? Fuck NVIDIA. That's just a life ruiner right there. Like, that is maximum tilt, right? If you were to look at that, that's maximum tilt. Coinbase getting close to that 130. That's been impressive too. Volume been impressive. It's been okay. Okay. Thank Christ. Oh. Man, last 12 days, guys, it's felt like a slog. I don't know how you guys feel, but it has felt like a slog. Yeah. So yeah, that's another reason to sit on hands. Yeah, it could give us a possible trigger. Now, we need to see if we can get a consistent story. Like, the more I look at it, the probably more it feels like it could be Tesla. But still got a ways to go here. SPY-ish. Microsoft-ish. SPY's got like 60 cents. That's in play for sure. Seriously, guys, another day of consolidation. Fuck me. Yeah, it does. I was thinking about that a little bit actually this morning, Nate. Like, I know I mentioned it this morning on the pre-market prep, where it kind of feels like the only way you're going to be happy with this market is if your entry was like 2 months ago. Well, oftentimes it's like the most uncomfortable trade is the most profitable one. So there's like there's a little part of me that just wants to start like going full swingers here, right? Start wife swapping my positions. And just go like, I don't know, SPY 520 calls. Just close my eyes and pray. I will say that fundamentally, right, the type of trading that I'm worst at is this low vol grind. This is the stuff I get most frustrated with. Because it's constantly following your plan, but not well enough. That's fucking frustrating. Yeah, 100%, Gabe. I agree. Forcing us to embrace that uncomfortable feeling. To be determined if that's good or not. Okay, Google not in play. Tesla, still some work to do. Nvidia is the socio. So the thing that I would suggest here is, although you're getting a good candle, these probably aren't Bollinger Bands that are really indicative of a reversal. Right? I want them to be fat. Like, I don't know if that necessarily satisfies that criteria. So target would have had to have been midline. So yeah, you think wouldn't have even quite gotten the pullback there. So just not enough space to play that reversal. Close, but no cigars. The right idea, 10 cents of risk would have been awesome. Fair. I mean, 86 probably a little bit ambitious, right? Because that's greater than high of day. So I would suggest that that's maybe a little bit of an unrealistic target based on the resistance that you've seen established here intraday, right? And if you've seen price get stuck at high of day, that should probably be, if you're going to be more, you're not going to use the Bollinger Bands, right? High of day should be the target. Because that's where you've seen the failure occur so far, right? That's why I really like Bollinger Bands, right? Bollinger Bands make it really easy for me to know what my target is, what my target should be, and how to size my trade, right? So if I'm going from bottom line, I'm targeting midline, top line, right? If I'm targeting a breakout through midline, I'm targeting top line. So I don't have to be too aggressive with it, right? I think that's why we try to be so casual, right, with our levels that we choose here too. It's essentially a way of minimizing our greed, right? If we don't allow ourselves to think that it's going to move 5%, then we maybe won't have these unrealistic expectations of this being some life-changing trade. But this for me was not a significant enough of a pullback to justify a dip buy. So we're still waiting for that volume, right? Volume has not showed up here with any real significance yet this week, right? So I think until that happens, it's going to be challenging to get a ton of sustained follow through. We'll see, but it's my base assumption here. So good exercise for us to think about here today is what's the pain trade? Seems like the pain trades might be the slowest one. Fuck, like that is an insulting amount of range on the SPY. Honestly, like insulting amount of range. Fuck's sake, you can't even give us 75 cents? Like, jeez. Yeah, catch up on your rerun of Succession, absolutely. I don't know if you guys are into like aviation and stuff like that, but the new Masters of Air series on Apple TV is awesome. Feels like we get 2 nice weeks a month at the moment. And we're going like data drop to data drop as we're trying to price in Fed hikes. So a little bit of a data dependent market. I think CPI will be a big one next week. Oh, Marcus, that's a... I'm not sure if I can agree with you, but Succession's next level. Oh, that'd be awesome, Igor. That would be awesome. I have a few sick thoughts in my head about impulse purchases one day, but we'll see. Oh, Ben, it's incredible. Marcus, I don't know if you saw this. You might find this funny, but spoiler alert in Billions, right? Paul Giamatti likes he likes to get dominated by his dominatrix, right? Something along those lines. And the actress who plays that character is now his girlfriend in real life. Which I love. Yes. Uh, Dude, I'm so impressed with man, Apple. This might be, I'm gonna say a generational buying opportunity on Apple. I don't know if those exist anymore, but it's kind of interesting. So yeah, guys, I don't think I'm going to be very aggressive here. I do not think I'm seeing the volume standard I wanted to have seen here so far this morning. So I am being patient and sitting on hands. All right, let's see if Amazon's giving us the oomph we want. Decent follow through 171. It's not biggest vol of the week established here so far today, so I would say that is not giving me the volume standard I'm willing to accept. Just not enough volume. If this opening candle was 30% bigger, yeah, then I have that confidence. But I don't have that. So no confidence. I gotta stay away. Any questions, team? Any questions? Don't think I'll be doing anything here again, unfortunately. All right, team, come on. Final call for questions here. Final call for questions. This is not price action worth my time or money. Sounds good, Kyle. You have a good day, mate. Sounds good, Greg. You have a great done. You too, Marcus. Have a good day, man. All right, everyone. Well, if no further questions, I'm going to kill the stream here for the day. Hopefully you can finish off the week with a trade tomorrow. That would be awesome. But I am really not in a position where I want to force anything or overtrade or do anything along those lines. So let's make sure that we're actually taking advantage of the price action that is there, and we're not forcing or making up trades in between, right? All that's going to do is cost us money. And we keep identifying consolidation until proven otherwise. We keep creating that standard, and it keeps not meeting that standard. So the only thing to do, right, is to sit on and wait, not waste any money, and essentially await, right, the smoother price action. Consolidation leads to breakouts. Breakouts lead to consolidation. So be patient. When it'll move, and we'll be ready. But we can't give away our money or cost ourselves cash in the meantime. So glad you guys are all working hard, right? Staying disciplined, being motivated, trusting the process, right? These things are all very important, and keep compounding those positive habits, then our trading will go very well. So have yourselves all a great one. Same deal like always, right? If you want to hit me up outside of market hours, I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, we'll catch up soon. Peace, guys. Hell yeah, Joe. I mean, don't lose money, right? You can't complain. So market will give us something here eventually. But objectively, I don't think we've missed out on anything here so far this week. Nothing tradable, at least. So I love the attitude, man. It's the right place to be. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.